Good morning, students. In continuation of our video lectures regarding mass spectrometry, this is fifth lecture, and also in continuation of determination of molecular formula, we are going to discuss or we are going to practice few more examples for molecular formula determination. After the molecular formula determination, today's class I am going to teach about the processes of fragmentation for an organic molecules in the mass spectrum. Now coming to the example of mass spectrum. Now according to our guidelines or procedures, first we have to select a series of signals at higher m by z value. For example, a m by z value 112 for molecular ion, 113 for molecular ion plus 1 signal, 114 for molecular ion plus 2 signal. Now the relative abundance percentage for the respective ions. A molecular ion signal intensity is 21%, plus 1 signal intensity, say for example 1.4%, and plus 1 signal intensity is 1.4, and plus 2 signal intensity is 6.93. Now then we have to apply guideline 1 according to first guideline, where the molecular ion intensity is not 100%, here only 21%. Therefore we have to calculate its intensity to 100%. So a molecular ion signal intensity, that is 21 divided by 21 into 100, it become 100%. It become 100%. Now similarly, molecular ion plus 2 signal, plus 1 signal is to be proportionally recalculated. Its intensity is 1.4 divided by molecular ion intensity is 21. Molecular ion intensity is 21, so that 1.4 divided by 21 into 100 is it become equal to 6.66%. It become equal to 6.66%. Similarly, plus 2 signal. A molecular ion plus 2 signal intensity is 6.93. Now molecular ion signal intensity is 21 into 100. It become into 100. It become equal to 33%. Now when we recalculate molecular ion intensity to 100%, plus 1 signal intensity proportionally recalculated to get 6.66%, and plus 2 signal intensity is 33%. So these are the values for recalculated. That is, molecular ion signal intensity is 100%. This becomes 6.66%. This becomes 33%. This is the first guideline. Let us apply second guideline. What is second guideline? Second guideline is related to the application of nitrogen rule. That is, according to second guideline, that is nitrogen rule, where the molecular ion m by z value is 112. M by z value of molecular ion is 112. This is the figure of even. This is even figure. Therefore, even number of nitrogen, even nitrogens, or it may be contain a zero number of nitrogens. So this is the second guideline. Next, we should apply third guideline. That is comparison of molecular ion signal intensity with plus 2 signal intensity. Molecular ion intensity comparison with molecular ion plus 2 signal intensity, where the molecular ion signal intensity is 100%, isn't it? Whereas the plus 2 signal intensity is 33%. You observe the relation, where plus molecular ion signal intensity and plus 2 signal intensity relation is 100:33%. So that indicated presence of chlorine. Chlorine is present. When we get this relation, that indicated presence of chlorine. This is the third guideline. Now coming to the fourth guideline. What is fourth guideline? Number of carbons to be calculated. number of carbons is equal to molecular ion plus 1 signal intensity divided by natural abundancy of carbon, that is 6.66 is the plus 1 signal intensity divided by 1.11%, divided by 1.11%. It gives nearly 6 carbons. So the molecule may be contain 6 number of carbons. Next, fifth guideline. What is the fifth guideline? Calculating number of hydrogens present in the molecule. Now, number of hydrogens is equal to, how to calculate number of hydrogen? Deleting masses of predicted atom from m by z value of molecular ion. The m by z value of molecular ion is 112. Now, the predicted atom masses to be deleted from 112, that is m by z value of molecular ion. So far we predicted 6 carbons. Now 6 carbons contributed how much? 60 plus 12. 60 plus 12, that is 72. So 72 is the mass related to 6 carbon atom, each contributed 12 mass. 12 into 6, 72. When we when we delete the 72 related to carbon mass from 112, what happens? 72 8 80 28 28 plus 2 30 plus 4 is equal to 40. You may observe we have leftover mass is 40 after deleting the contribution of carbon from molecular ion m by z value. Now we already predicted that there is a presence of chlorine which obtained by comparison of relation of intensity between molecular ion to molecular ion plus 2, that is 100:33. So chlorine is already predicted, therefore its mass also to be deleted from the leftover mass. How many chlorines can be accommodated? Only one chlorine can be accommodated because the leftover mass is only 40. Now chlorine contributed its mass 35. So deleting mass of the chlorine, so we get 5. The leftover mass is 5. Is it clear? Now after deleting all the masses of all the carbons predicted and a chlorine from m by z value of molecular ion, the leftover mass is only 5. Now coming to the nitrogen rule. According to nitrogen rule, for this molecule we have got either presence of even number of nitrogen or zero number of nitrogen, but the leftover mass is only 5. Therefore it is not possible to accommodate number of nitrogen, that is nitrogens. Coming to the oxygen. Now there is only leftover 5 mass, therefore we cannot accommodate or it is not possible to accommodate oxygen. So nitrogen, oxygens are absent. Therefore the molecular formula become, how many carbons we predicted? 6 carbons we have predicted. The leftover mass, the total may be related to the hydrogen, 5 leftover mass, therefore hydrogens may be present 5. 5 hydrogens may be present. After that we have got one chlorine. Therefore the molecular formula for C6 for this molecule is C6H5 and Cl. Is it clear? Now this is the series of signals 112, 113, 114 obtained from the spectrum at higher m by z value. Their original intensities: molecular ion intensity 21, molecular ion plus 1 signal intensity is only 1.4, molecular ion plus 2 signal intensity is 6.93. Now we are recalculated. Molecular ion intensity is recalculated to 100%. 21 by 21 into 100 divided by 21 into 100, it become 100%. Now plus 1 signal intensity is also proportionally recalculated. 1.4 divided by 21 into 100, that becomes 6.66% intensity. Now plus 2 signal intensity, after recalculating, 6.93 divided by 21 into 100, it becomes 33%. Now we applied the nitrogen rule, where m by z value of molecular ion is 112. 112 is the even number, therefore there may be even number of nitrogen or zero number of nitrogens are present. After that we compared the molecular ion signal intensity with the +2 signal intensity and found that it is the relation of 100:33, therefore indicated presence of chlorine. When we got this relation, there must be a presence of chlorine. It may be 1 or it may be n number. Now, after that, we have calculated the number of carbon by the deletion of, calculated the number of carbons by dividing the intensity of molecular ion +1 signal 6.66 divided by with the natural abundance of carbon 1.11%. So we got a 6 carbons. After that, we have to calculate the number of hydrogen. The number of hydrogens is equal to m/z value of molecular ion minus predicted carbon. 6 carbons contributed, each carbon 12 mass, therefore it is 72. 1112 minus 72, the leftover mass is only 40. So in this stage we got a chlorine. The leftover mass is 40, therefore one chlorine may be present. Its mass is 35. So we should remove the mass of the chlorine from leftover, that is 40 minus 35. The leftover mass is only 5. So with 5 leftover mass, it is not possible to have a molecule with either nitrogen or either oxygen. Therefore nitrogen oxygens are absent. So whatever the leftover mass we got, that is 5, it is totally related to the hydrogen. That means it indicated 5 hydrogens may be present. Hence the molecular formula become 6 carbons predicted, 5 hydrogen predicted, 1 chlorine, that is C6H5 chlorine. So this is the way to calculate the molecular formula. Now let us calculate molecular formula using one more examples. Now one more example, m/z value, relative abundance percentage. Now a series of signals in the spectrum, say for example at higher m/z value appeared at 108, 108, 109 for m+1 signal, 110 for +2 signal. Now the 108 signal intensity say appear with 51%, this signal intensity appear with 1.13%, and the signal appear with 49.9%. Is it clear? Now these are the series of signals from the obtained from the spectrum 108, 109, 110. When 108 is related to molecular ion, 9 become first isotope +1 signal, 10 become second isotope signal, that is +2 signal. Now from the spectrum, the molecular ion signal intensity would be 51, +1 signal intensity is 1.13, +2 signal intensity is 49.9. Now the molecular ion signal intensity is again not 100%, it is only 51. Therefore we have to calculate molecular ion intensity is equal to 51 divided by 51 into 100. What happens? It become 100%. It become 100%. Similarly, molecular ion +1 signal to be recalculated, 1.13 divided by 51 into 100. 1.13 is the original intensity of molecular ion +1 signal, and 51 will be the molecular ion signal intensity. So this become equal to 2.28 something, 2.28 something. Similarly, +2 signal intensity to be recalculated, 49.9 original intensity of +2 signal, 51 is the molecular ion intensity into 100, so that it become equal to 98%. 98%. For convenience, I am writing here recalculated intensity values. It is 100%, it is 2.28%, it is 98%. Now this is the first guideline applied for calculation of molecular formula. Now second guideline is the nitrogen rule. According to nitrogen rule, the m/z value of molecular ion is 108. 108 is the even number. Therefore even number of nitrogens or 0 nitrogens may be present. 0 number of nitrogens may be present. Next, third guideline, comparison of molecular ion signal intensity with molecular ion plus 2 signal intensity. Its intensity is 100% plus 2 signal intensity. After proportionality recalculated, it become 98. So do you remember this relation, that is 100 is to 98 relation indicated presence of bromine. Bromine is present. Bromine atom may be present, is present in the molecule. Now fourth guideline, number of carbons. How do we calculate number of carbon? By dividing intensity of molecular ion plus 1 signal, that is 2.28 after recalculated value, divided by natural abundancy of carbon, that is 1.11%. Natural abundancy of carbon is only 1.11%. Therefore, it gives rise to appropriately or approximately 2 carbons. Next, fifth guideline, number of hydrogens to be calculated. How do we calculate number of hydrogens to be calculated? By deleting masses of predicted atom from m by z value of molecular ion. It is 108. The molecular ion m by z value is 108. The predicted atom, so far it is 2 carbons, so we should delete 24 mass. Now when we delete the 24 mass, it becomes equal to 84. The leftover mass is 84. Now in the third guideline, the relation between molecular ion to molecular ion plus 2 is 100 is to 98 indicated bromine. The leftover mass is 84. So we should remove the mass of the bromine, that is contribution of mass of the bromine from the leftover mass. Therefore we can accommodate 1 bromine. So its mass will be 79. Bromine mass will be 79. 84 minus 79 is equal to 5. Is it clear? Now you can see, after deleting the masses of 2 carbon 24 and 1 bromine mass 79 from 108, that is related to molecular m by z value of molecular ion, the leftover mass is only 5. Again similar to previous example, again it is not possible to accommodate either the nitrogen or either the oxygen. Therefore the molecule may not contain any nitrogen and any oxygen, so that the leftover mass is totally related to the hydrogen. That is, hydrogens may be 5 hydrogens may be present in the molecule. Therefore the molecular formula, we got the 2 carbons, hydrogens, number of hydrogens we got 5, C2H5, 1 bromine, we got 1 bromine, so that its molecular formula is C2H5Br. I can explain once again. A series of signal at highest m by z value selected from the spectrum 108, 109, 110 with the respective intensity values: 51 for molecular ion, 1.13 for plus 1 signal, 49.9 for plus 2 signal. So it is not 100%, therefore recalculated its intensity to 100% by 51 divided by 51 into 100, it become 100. 1.13 proportionally we recalculate proportionally, plus 1 plus 2 signal intensity is also recalculated. 1.13 divided by molecular ion intensity plus molecular ion signal intensity, 1.13 divided by 51 into 100, it becomes 2.28. So plus 1 signal intensity is 2.28. Similarly plus 2 signal, 49.9 divided by 51 into 100, it become equal to 98. For convenience I have written the values here. When molecular ion signal is appear as 100%, plus 1 must be 2.28, plus 2 must be 98 for this example. Now we have applied nitrogen rule, that is 108 m by z value for a molecular ion. This will be the even, hence even number of nitrogen or zero number of nitrogens may be present. Then we have compared molecular ion signal intensity to plus 2 signal intensity. The relation we found 100 is to 98. Thus relation indicated the presence of bromine. After that, number of carbons are calculated by division of molecular ion signal intensity 2.2 plus 1 signal intensity 2.28 divided by natural abundancy of carbon 1.11, that is equal to 2 carbons. So molecule may be contain a 2 carbons. Then number of hydrogens are calculated by deleting the masses of 2 carbon, deleting masses of 1 bromine, that is related to 24, and that is 79 related to bromine from 108. 108 will be the m by z value of molecular ion. Here it is. So the leftover mass is only 5. So the leftover mass, when it is only 5, it is not possible to accommodate either nitrogen or not possible to accommodate either oxygen. Therefore the molecular formula is 2 carbons, 5 hydrogens we are calculated, 1 bromine. Its molecular formula is C2H5 bromine. With this I complete the determination of molecular formula. I think so you learned well regarding the determination of molecular formula. You all are aware to calculate the molecular formula. Thank you. Now, in continuation of the same chapter, I am going to teach another new topic. Now, in the mass spectrum principle, the principle of mass spectroscopy, where the vaporized molecule is bombarded with high energetic electron at 70 electron volt, which remove one electron from the molecule to give molecular ion. Molecular ion. Is it clear? This is the step, first step. It is called as ionization. Ionization. The first step is called as ionization. After that, it undergo fragmentation. It undergo fragmentation. What is fragmentation? Broken up a molecular ion into a smaller species is called as fragmentation. So in the second step, it undergo fragmentation to give either a radical ion by the loss of neutral, or to give a cation by the loss of a radical. Now these are the two processes of fragmentation. So molecular ion is fragmented as cation radical by the loss of neutral, or sometimes depending upon its nature it may be fragmented as cation and a radical. This is the principle. Now the cation radical and cations are called as daughter ions. In addition to the molecular ion, the daughter ions were also recorded in the mass spectrum. The recording process is another topic. Now, so this is overall principle of mass spectrometry. The first step of principle is ionization. The second step of principle is fragmentation. Coming to ionization, we have learned about the techniques used for the ionization. It is EI, CI, FAB, MALDI, secondary ion mass spectrometry, SIMSmetry, and electrospray ionization. Now these are the first step of a principle includes the ionization. We have studied about the methods of ionization, how to ionize our vapory state molecule into a molecular ion to get a molecular ion. So we have different type of ionization techniques depending upon the nature of the sample to be ionized. One is electron ionization, other one is chemical ionization, the other one is fast atom bombardment ionization, matrix assisted laser desorption ionization, and the secondary ion mass spectrometry and electrospray ionization technique. So these are the techniques included in your syllabus. So far all these techniques we learned in second lecture, third lecture, and also in fourth lecture. Now this is the first part of the mass spectrometry principle we already covered, that is regarding ionization. Coming to the second part. What is the second part? After the formation of molecular ion, it undergo broken up into a smaller species. We can call it as a fragmentation. So the second process, the second step of principle or mass spectrometry is related to the fragmentation. Now we are going to discuss what is fragmentation, how the molecular ion, in what way it is broken up, depending upon its nature, what type of fragmentations happen for a molecular ion to break down into a smaller species. Now let us, that is called as fragmentation processes. That is classification లేదా are types of fragmentation. Types of fragmentation. Types of fragmentation. Now at this stage we are going to discuss about the second part of the principle, that is related to fragmentation. For that we have to study how the molecular ion is break down into a smaller species. There are different type of fragmentation processes we are going to study, that is called as types of fragmentation. That is this is types of fragmentation for molecular ion. Are you following? The molecular ion may be fragmented broadly by the two processes. One is a simple cleavage. By the simple cleavage process, the molecular ion is fragmented or break down into a smaller species. There is a simple cleavage. Or the molecular ion may be fragmented by the process of rearrangement. That is a molecular ion may be fragmented by simple cleavage. Simple cleavage or by fragmented by the process of rearrangement. So after formation of molecular ion, for breakdown into a smaller species, that is for fragmentation. So depending upon the type and depending upon the nature of the sample, it may be undergo fragmentation by the process of only simple cleavage. So only simple cleavage, or it may be undergo fragmentation by the process of rearrangement. So there are two type of processes. One is the simple cleavage, another one is rearrangement process of fragmentation. Now coming to the simple cleavage. When we consider the cleavage, there may be two type of cleavages. That is it may be heterolytically cleaved. The molecular ion, when undergo simple cleavage, there may be, we already studied that the cleavage of the bond is two types. It may be heterolytic cleavage or it may be homolytic cleavage. So the molecular ion, when undergo process of a simple cleavage when undergo process of fragmentation by using a simple cleavage, it may be cleaved. A simple cleavage may be heterolytic. That is heterolytic cleavage. A simple cleavage includes, it may be heterolytic cleavage, means a molecular ion is fragmented by the process of simple cleavage involving heterolytically. I can explain later. Next, or it may be fragmented, a molecular ion may be broken down or fragmented using a simple cleavage process involving homolytic cleavage. So we know the bond cleavage includes heterolytic cleavage. The bond cleavage may be includes homolytically or homolytic cleavage. Now, the homolytic cleavage further includes alpha cleavage. It may be alpha cleavage, or the homolytic cleavage may be beta cleavage. Homolytic cleavage may be beta cleavage. I can explain after writing. Or The homolytic cleavage may be allylic one, allylic cleavage, allylic cleavage, or homolytic cleavage may be benzylic. The homolytic cleavage may be benzylic. Are you are you following? After formation of molecular ion, it has a function of undergoing a fragmentation. Fragmentation may be by the process of simple cleavage, or fragmentation may be by the process of rearrangement. So this depends upon the nature of the sample to be undergo fragmentation. If it undergoes simple cleavage, it may be a simple cleavage may be due to the heterolytic cleavage. The bond may be cleaved heterolytically, or a simple cleavage may be homolytically. That is, the bonds may be cleaved homolytically. Further, if the bonds are cleaved homolytically, there may be a doubt which bond is cleaved homolytically. If the first bond is cleaved homolytically with respect to charge or ion site, charge or radical site. Are you following? Homolytic cleavage is the cleavage of a bond homolytically where the bonded electrons are mutually shared by the two bonded atoms, called as homolytic cleavage. Next question arises, if it undergo homolytic cleavage, which bond to be cleaved? Whether the first bond is cleaved or whether the second bond is cleaved. There are n type of bonds. That is, a cleavage of the first bond with respect to ion site or a radical site is called as alpha cleavage. Alpha cleavage is a type of homolytic cleavage. And if a molecular ion undergo a simple cleavage by the process of homolytically, the second bond with respect to charge or radical site may be cleaved, called as beta cleavage. I will show some examples after explaining this classification. And the homolytic cleavage may be due to the cleavage of allylic bond. Cleavage of allylic bond, that is cleavage of beta bond with respect to a double bond if present in the sample molecule is called as allylic cleavage, or benzylic cleavage. Here the homolytic cleavage of the second bond or beta bond with respect to aromatic rings or aromatic system is called as benzylic cleavage. Now, so simple cleavage includes two types: heterolytic cleavage, homolytic cleavage. Homolytic cleavage may be further alpha cleavage, beta cleavage, or allylic cleavage, or benzylic cleavage. Now, the third one, the simple cleavage also includes the third one, retro-Diels order fragmentation. Retro-Diels order fragmentation. So the simple cleavage includes mainly three types of cleavages: heterolytic cleavage, homolytic cleavage, and retro-Diels order fragmentation. It is abbreviated as RDA process. RDA process. So this is the fragmentation process for a molecular ion if undergo a simple cleavage. Sometimes only heterolytic cleavage may be takes place. Sometimes only homolytic cleavage may be takes place. In that, the cleavage may be alpha, or cleavage may be beta, or cleavage may be allylic, or cleavage may be benzylic, or sometimes retro-Diels order fragmentation. Now coming to second type of fragmentation, that is a molecular ion fragmentation by the process of rearrangement. Rearranging. A molecular may be undergo rearrangement in order to cleave into a smaller species. The rearrangement may be includes A. Scrambling reaction. A scrambling reaction. I can explain later. Rearrangement, the molecular ion may be rearranged by the process of scrambling. This is a kind of fragmentation, rearrangement. After scrambling, the molecular ion may be undergo a fragmentation, that is scrambling. The second one, B, McLafferty rearrangement. As it is first studied by McLafferty rearrangement. McLafferty rearrangement. So the molecular ion may be undergo fragmentation by rearranging specifically through the McLafferty process called as McLafferty rearrangement. C, elimination. A fragmentation by the process of elimination by involving the rearrangement process. So the molecular ion may be fragmented by the process of elimination and simultaneous rearrangement called as elimination versus elimination followed by the rearrangement. The last one, D, Ardo effect. Ardo effect. Ardo effect. So in brief, a molecular ion is fragmented by two processes. One is simple cleavage, other one is rearrangement. Simple cleavage may be heterolytic, homolytic, or retro-Diels-order fragmentation. Rearrangement may be scrambling process, McLafferty rearrangement, elimination process, or by Ardo effect. We will discuss with an example, with a specific example by each reaction. Of each reaction, scrambling, McLafferty, elimination, and Ardo. I will explain with some examples in the later class. Now we are going to study about simple cleavage. So we are going to study each and every fragmentation process with a specific examples. So this is called as classification of fragmentation process of molecular ion. Are you following? Now, the first process of fragmentation is simple cleavage. The first process of fragmentation is a simple cleavage. In that, A, we will discuss about first one, heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic. Heterolytic cleavage. The first step, simple fragmentation process for the molecular ion is heterolytic cleavage. Let us discuss what is heterolytic cleavage. Now, it is the fragmentation process. During the cleavage of a bond, both the bonded electrons are taken away by more electronegative atom. Is it clear? The cleavage of the bond in a molecular ion involving both the bonded atoms. There are two electrons, both the bonded electrons. There are two electrons in one bond. Both the bonded electrons are taken away by more electronegative atom. That leads to the formation of a alkyl cation and a radical related to more electronegative atom. So the cleavage involving the two bonded electrons are taken away by only one atom, that is more electronegative atom, that resulted alkyl cation as well as a radical of more electronegative atom. Now this process, for example, you take Rx, a Rx system where the molecular ion, say this is the molecular ion of Rx. Now when the bond is cleaved heterolytic, now in between R group and X group, we know the X is more electronegative atom. X may be chlorine, X may be bromine, or X may be iodine, or X may be OH, or X may be oxygen, whatever it may be, or X may be NH2 or NO2. So whatever it may be. If X is more electronegative atom, so this is the molecular ion of Rx plus dot. Now both bonding electrons are taken away by more electronegative atom. This is called as heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage. Now, when it undergo heterolytic cleavage, what happens? It resulted a alkyl group as a cation. Now, X as a radical. X is more electronegative atom. X is cleaved as a radical. This is called as heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage is more favor for a compounds which containing a more electronegative atom like alcohols, ethers, alkyl halides, etc. So the heterolytic cleavage is a characteristic fragmentation for a compounds which containing a more electronegative atom. We know when the compound containing more electronegative atom, it always induced to take both electrons away from the bond. That is, this process is favor for alcohols, for ethers, for alkyl halides, etc. type of compound. In brief, we may consider the heterolytic cleavage process is favor for any compounds which containing a more electronegative atom, always resulted a alkyl cation as well as a radical of more electronegative atom. Now, this process is further favor. The process is further more favor if the alkyl cation formed is more stable. The process of heterolytic cleavage is more favored one when the formation of alkyl cation is more stable. If it is more stable, the process is more facilitated or more induced. The bond is more induced to be cleaved heterolytically. For example, you take CH3, CH2, OH. CH3, CH2OH. This is ion radical, that is a molecular ion. Now, it may undergo heterolytic cleavage. Both bonding electrons are taken away by OH group. Therefore, it gives CH3, CH2 plus charge, a ethyl cation, and OH is formed or eliminated as a radical. OH is eliminated as a radical. Now again I can explain. The process is more favored when the alkyl cation formed is more stable. For example, you take ether, CH3, CH2, oxygen, CH3, molecular ion. This is molecular ion of ethyl isopropyl ether. Now, when it undergo a fragmentation process, there is a possibility of cleavage of either this bond or either cleavage of this bond. If this bond is cleaved heterolytically, if this bond oxygen, the bond between oxygen and methine carbon, CH carbon, if heterolytically cleaved, say this is called as process 1. The second probability, the bond between the ethereal oxygen and methylene carbon, CH2 carbon, may be cleaved. Say this is second process. So there are two type of possibility to cleave the bond. Either this bond is may be cleaved or this bond may be cleaved. Now what happens? You see, if the first process is happen, the first cleavage is happen, what happens? We will get the CH3, CH2, oxygen as radical. CH3, CH2, oxygen as radical. This as isopropyl cation. CH3, a plus charge, isopropyl cation. Now coming to the second process. If the second bond is cleaved between methylene carbon and ethereal oxygen, called as second process, then we will get CH3 CH2 as cation, CH3 CH2 as cation, then CH3 CH3 as radical, isopropyl oxide. Now you see what happens. When the process 1 is happen, we will get more stable isopropyl cation. If the cleavage is happened by the second process, we will get ethyl cation. Now in between the isopropyl cation and ethyl cation, isopropyl cation is more stable. Therefore, the process of cleavage of the bond between the ethereal oxygen and methyl is more favor. I already told that. If the alkyl cation formed is more stable, the process is more favored or more facilitated. So in the case of isopropyl cation, it is more stable. Therefore, the first process takes place more when compared with the cleavage of second bond heterolytically. So this is one of the examples. Now we'll go for some other examples. We have N-butyl iodide, CH3, CH2, 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 iodine. Molecular ion of N-butyl iodide. Similarly, CH3, CH2, 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 bromine. Molecular ion of N-butyl bromide. CH3, CH2, CH2, CCl. Molecular ion of N-butyl chloride. Now, we are discussing about heterolytic cleavage. What is heterolytic cleavage? Both bonding electron, when taken away by more electronegative atom, resulted in alkyl cation and a radical of more electronegative atom. It is an heterolytic cleavage. Now, heterolytic cleavage is a characteristic process of any compound consisting of more electronegative atom. In particular, it is a real characteristic process of alkyl halide, alcohol, ether, etc. type of compounds. Now we have discussed some examples. Coming to the other examples. Now N-butyl iodide, N-butyl bromide, N-butyl chloride of their molecular ions. Now in case of N-butyl iodide, this bond is heterolytically cleaved. That is, both bonding electrons are taken away by iodide. So it gives CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2 cation, N-butyl cation plus iodine as radical. Similarly, for N-butyl bromide, where the bromine is more electronegative, therefore cleaved heterolytically to give the same cation, N-butyl cation, CH2 plus charge plus loss of bromine as a radical, N-butyl cation and radical bromine. Now coming to here. Now however, you see, for the third one, now for the third example, that is for N-butyl chloride, you see, however, chlorine is more electronegative atom, so we would expect similar to the first two examples, the chlorine is also cleaved heterolytically, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2 plus chlorine as radical. Now this is expected with respect to the first two examples. In case of iodine, in case of bromine, the chlorine is also more electronegative. Therefore, we would expect to be cleaved heterolytically. But unfortunately, the bond between carbon and iodine and carbon and bromine is very weak when compared with the bond between carbon and chlorine. that is the bond between carbon iodine, carbon bromine is very weak, so that easily we can cleave the bond. The carbon iodine bond, carbon bromine bond can be easily cleaved heterolytically to get the cations. But however, the chlorine is more electronegative. The bond between carbon and chlorine is very strong. The strong bond, this bond is strong. This bond is very strong, so that in the case of carbon iodine, carbon bromine, for carbon chlorine, we cannot break the bond simply by heterolytic cleavage. We cannot remove the chlorine by the process of simple heterolytic cleavage. Therefore, there is no a simple cleavage for N-butyl chloride. That is, for N-butyl chloride, it may be undergo fragmentation by the process of elimination of hydrogen and chlorine. Sorry, this is CH2. Now, alpha carbon and beta carbon. So, due to strong bond between carbon chlorine, it may not undergo a simple heterolytic cleavage, but it may undergo elimination process. That is, the hydrogen from beta carbon and a chlorine can be eliminated as HCl as neutral. HCl as neutral, so that we can get CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2 ion radical plus HCl neutral. HCl neutral. You see, when this hydrogen and chlorine is eliminated, we got a double bond between alpha carbon and beta carbon. That is, butene is formed by the process of eliminating a neutral hydrochloric acid HCl. So we get N-butene, 1-butene ion radical instead of cation. So depending upon the nature, are you following? So depending upon the nature, a molecular ion may be undergo a simple cleavage process, or it may be undergo elimination followed by rearrangement process. So this process comes under rearrangement 1, because it is eliminating from eliminating and rearranged to an alkene, from alkane to alkene. This is a saturated system. It is rearranged to unsaturated system. So in the case of chlorine, the simple fragmentation is not favored, therefore it undergo elimination. So this is about heterolytic cleavage. Now coming to the second process. In the simple cleavage, the second process of fragmentation is homolytic cleavage. Homolytic. The second process of fragmentation is the simple cleavage includes homolytic cleavage. What is homolytic cleavage? Homolytic cleavage is the cleavage of the bond in a molecule where the two shared electrons are mutually taken away by the two atoms. So there are two electrons in between one bond, in between the two atoms of one bond. So homolytic cleavage is the process of a simple cleavage where the two bonded electrons are mutually taken away by two bonded atoms. So two bonding electrons are mutually taken away by the two bonded atoms. Resulted what? One is cation, another one is radical. Resulted a cation and another one is radical. That is called as homolytic cleavage. Once again, a cleavage of the bond involving both the bonding electrons are mutually taken away by the two bonded atoms, irrespective of their nature. So the two bonded atoms take their electrons away to give two small fragments. It is called as simple cleavage. In that, it is homolytic cleavage. When the both bonding electrons are mutually taken away by the two bonded atom, it is called as a simple cleavage. Further, the simple cleavage may be includes cleavage of the first bond called as alpha cleavage, cleavage of the second bond called as beta cleavage, cleavage of the allylic bond called as allylic cleavage, cleavage of the benzylic bond called as benzylic cleavage. So the homolytic cleavage includes alpha cleavage. Alpha cleavage. What is alpha cleavage? Cleavage of the bond, first bond particularly, cleavage of the first bond homolytically. What is first bond? Cleavage of the first bond with respect to ion site or a radical site. As we are we are considering a molecular ion, where the molecular ion consisting one charge site and one radical. Is it clear? So a cleavage of the first bond with respect to charge or ion, that means charge or a radical site homolytically, is called as alpha cleavage, or in brief, cleavage of the first bond with respect to ion site or radical site is called as alpha cleavage. So alpha cleavage resulted one as a cation, the other as a one fragment as a cation, the other fragment as a radical. For example, CH3, CH2, oxygen, CH2, CH3. Now this is molecular ion, where this is a positive charge, this is a radical, this is a charge ion site, this is the radical site. Now with respect to ion site or radical site, this bond is first bond, this bond is first bond, this bond is second bond. Now cleavage of the first bond, cleavage of the first bond with respect to charge or radical homolytically. This is homolytic cleavage, which includes or involve the two bonding electrons are mutually shared by first carbon and by oxygen. One electron is shared to carbon, one electron is shared to oxygen. Therefore it is called as homolytic cleavage. Now in this case, the fragmentation is happen by only a simple cleavage, so that it is a simple cleavage. So this bond is cleaved. So the fragmentation takes place by what process? By a simple cleavage of one bond. In that the bond is cleaved homolytically, therefore it is homolytic cleavage. Which bond is cleaved homolytically? The first bond is cleaved, therefore called as alpha cleavage. So the first bond is designated as alpha bond, the second bond is designated as beta bond. So homolytically the alpha bond is cleaved, therefore it comes under alpha cleavage. One is eliminated, or one fragment is appear as a radical, the other fragment appear as a cation. Now in this case, you see, when this bond is homolytically cleaved, what happens? CH3, CH2 is eliminated as radical. It take one electron. CH2 carbon will take one electron, so that it becomes CH3, CH2 as a radical. CH3, CH2 is get eliminated as a radical. Now the other part of the molecule, CH3, CH2 and oxygen, get eliminated as cation. This is oxygen, this is CH2, this is CH3, a cation. Is it clear? So one fragment get eliminated as radical, the other part will get eliminated or formed as a cation. So one is cation, another one is a radical. This is called as alpha cleavage. Now you can take some other examples. CH3, CH2, NH, CH3. Now methyl, ethyl, amine. Methyl, ethyl, amine. Now this is a cation site, this is a radical site. Now cleavage of this is alpha bond with respect to charge, this is also alpha bond with respect to charge. Now if this bond is cleaved homolytically, we will get CH3, CH2 as radical, CH3, CH2 as radical, Now the other part of the molecule, CH3NH as cation. CH3NH as cation. Now from the molecular ion, if one fragment is appear as a radical, automatically the second fragment must be appear as a cation. In the principle we have studied that the molecular ion may be fragmented by the formation of cation radical by the loss of neutral. Once a cation radical is formed, the other fragment must be neutral, or it may be fragmented as a cation by the loss of radical. Once one fragment is formed as eliminated or formed as a cation, the other fragment must be a radical. Now here, this is the molecular ion. If one fragment is eliminated as radical, simultaneously the other part or other fragment must be a cation. It is cation by the loss of radical. Here also, this is the cation, this is the radical. So the molecular ion is fragmented by the process of formation of a cation by the loss of a radical. So is it clear? So this is called as alpha cleavage. It is a simple process. Simply in brief, the cleavage of first bond లేదా alpha bond with respect to charge or ion site is called as alpha cleavage. So alpha cleavage resulted always one cation, the other one as a radical. Now coming to the second one, beta cleavage. Beta cleavage, similar to alpha cleavage, there is a just difference, that is cleavage, it is also a simple cleavage and homolytic cleavage, but the only difference between the first and second is only the cleavage of the type of bond, the second bond. So the cleavage of the second bond with respect to charge or radical in the molecular ion, cleavage of second bond, we can consider it as a beta bond. So the cleavage of the beta bond with respect to charge or radical is called as beta cleavage. Again, the beta cleavage resulted one as a cation, the other as a radical. One fragment is a cation, the other fragment is formed as a radical. Are you getting? Are you clear? The cleavage of the second bond or beta bond with respect to charge or radical site is called as beta cleavage. It is a simple one. It is a simple cleavage, in that it is a homolytic cleavage. Resulted a cation by the loss of a radical. For example, CH3, CH2, oxygen, CH2, CH3, diethyl ether. A radical site, this is ion site, a radical site. This is a molecular ion of ether. The first bond with respect to charge radical is alpha. The second bond with respect to charge or radical is a beta. This is the first bond, this is the second bond. Now, cleavage of the second bond homolytically. Are you clear? So here, beta bond may be cleaved homolytically. Now when this bond is cleaved homolytically, what happens? CH3 shared one electron and formed as a CH3 radical. CH3 radical. Is it clear? Now, the other fragment, one electron is taken away by the CH3 group, one electron is remain on CH2 carbon, so that we will get the CH2, oxygen, CH2 and CH3. Now this is a radical and a ion site here. Now this is one electron. When this bond is cleaved homolytically, one electron is taken away by the CH3 group to form or to eliminate as a radical, methyl radical. The other electron of the bond is remain on CH2 carbon. I have written here CH2 carbon, one electron, one unpaired electron on oxygen. In between these two there is a bond is formed. In between these two there is a bond is formed to rearrange it to CH2 double bond oxygen CH2 CH3 plus. Is it clear? So when this bond is homolytically cleaved, one electron is taken away by the CH3 to get eliminated as CH3 radical. Now the other electron is mutually shared between the CH2 carbon and oxygen electron to get CH2 double bond oxygen as a cation. So initially I told that beta cleavage is also resulted, one as radical, the other one as a cation. This is cation molecule, cation molecule. Now we will take some other examples. Now you take hydrogen, CH2, some X, whatever it may be. This is CH3 X atom plus dot. Now this is the alkyl halide example. Now with respect to charge or radical, this is the alpha bond, this is the beta bond. Cleavage of the beta bond homolytically. What happens? Hydrogen get eliminated as radical, H radical. This becomes CH2 double bond X plus CH2 double bond X and plus. Is it clear? So one get eliminated as radical, the other get eliminated as a cation. So this is about a beta cleavage. Now you observe where the fragmentation is happened by the simple cleavage, by cleavage of one bond, so that it comes under simple cleavage. Now how the cleavage happens? By homolytically, so it comes under homolytic cleavage. Which bond is cleaved homolytically? Second bond. Therefore it comes under beta cleavage. It is a simple cleavage of homolytic of a beta cleavage, resulted a radical and a cation. This is about second type of fragmentation. Now homolytic cleavage includes the third one, allylic cleavage. Allylic cleavage. Let us explain. Cleavage of, again the beta bond, second bond, cleavage of the beta bond homolytically with respect to the double bond. Cleavage of the beta bond homolytically with respect to the double bond is called as allylic cleavage, that resulted always more stable allyl cation. The other fragment get eliminated as a radical. So the beta bond cleavage with respect to double bond is called as homolytic beta cleavage, allylic cleavage. This is allylic cleavage because allylic bond get cleaved to get allylic cation, which is more stable. One fragment get eliminated as a radical, called as allylic cleavage. The allylic cleavage is a characteristic fragmentation of olefins. Allylic cleavage is the characteristic fragmentation of olefins, that is alkenes. For example, you take CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2. This is molecular ion, a molecular ion. Do you observe? Now, this is the double bond. This is 1-butene molecular ion. With respect to double bond, this bond is alpha. With respect to double bond, this bond is beta. Now cleavage of beta bond. Cleavage of beta bond homolytically. What happens? It resulted. Now in this case, CH3 get eliminated as radical, methyl radical. Now this will eliminated or formed as CH2, CH double bond, CH2 radical. This is ion radical. Now this bond is polarized towards this to get, or I am writing directly, CH2, CH double bond, CH2 as cation. You observe with respect to the 1-butene molecular ion, with respect to double bond, first bond is alpha, second bond is beta. What happens? cleavage of the second bond, that is beta bond, homolytically resulted CH3 as radical. This part is eliminated, or this part is formed as a allyl cation. This is more stable. More stable allyl cation is formed. So this cleavage, what you see, you observe, fragmentation is happen for molecular ion by only cleavage of one bond. It is a simple cleavage. How it is cleaved? Homolytically. This cleavage is homolytic cleavage. Which bond is cleaved? Allylic bond or beta bond with respect to double bond is cleaved. What happens when the beta bond is cleaved? One fragment gets eliminated as radical, the other fragment is formed as a cation, which is an allylic cation, called as allylic cation, which is more stable. Because of stability of allylic cation, always the beta bond is cleaved. When beta bond is cleaved, only the allylic cation is formed. So this, because of formation of more stable allyl cation, this cleavage is called as allylic cleavage. So the allylic cleavage is a characteristic fragmentation of olefinic compounds. So olefins in general undergo a cleavage process of allyl type, allylic cleavage process. Now coming to the fourth one. So the simple cleavage, in that homolytic cleavage includes four subtypes. The fourth cleavage is a benzylic cleavage. Benzylic cleavage. Again, the cleavage of beta bond, second bond. The cleavage of, it is a simple cleavage. The cleavage of beta bond homolytically with respect to a aromatic system or aromatic ring. Again, the cleavage of beta bond with respect to the aromatic system by homolytically resulted a more stable benzyl cation, the other fragment as radical. Because of formation of a benzyl cation in this fragmentation, it is termed as a benzylic cleavage. This is called as benzylic. What is benzylic cleavage? Cleavage of the beta bond with respect to any aromatic system resulted a more stable benzyl cation by the loss of other fragment as a radical, called as benzylic cleavage. So this cleavage, benzylic cleavage, is a characteristic fragmentation of an alkyl benzenes. So any kind of alkyl benzene first undergo a benzylic type of cleavage because of the stable benzyl cation. Example, you take methyl benzene, CH2 hydrogen molecular ion, toluene, a toluene molecular ion. With respect to this aromatic system, this bond is alpha. First bond is alpha. With respect to aromatic system, the second bond is beta. Second bond is beta. I already told that. Cleavage of beta bond with respect to aromatic system. So this bond is get cleaved irrespective of first bond. Only second bond get cleaved. How? It is homolytically. So second bond is cleaved homolytically. What happens? One benzyl cation is formed, CH2 plus. A benzyl cation is formed by the loss of hydrogen as a radical. This is more stable. We know the benzyl cation is more stable due to resonance. So due to the formation of a stable, for the formation of a stable cation, that is benzyl cation, always a beta bond get cleaved. This is called as benzylic cleavage. This cleavage is characteristic cleavage or fragmentation for alkyl benzene, any alkyl benzene. Further, irrespective of alkyl side chain on a benzene or aromatic system, whatever the length of the carbon chain are attached to the aromatic system, always the beta bond is cleaved. Then only we will get the more stable benzyl cation. Say for example, there is N-propyl benzene. I am taking here toluene. Suppose if there is N-propyl benzene, the 3 carbons chain is attached to benzene. Again, whatever the length of carbon chain attached to benzene, only second bond is cleaved. Then only we will get the stable benzyl cation. For example, you take CH2, CH, CH3, now N-propyl benzene, now a molecular ion. Now this is first bond, that is alpha bond. This is second bond, that is beta bond. Now here, the cleavage of beta bond homolytically, you see what happens. This part is eliminated as CH2 radical, CH3, that is ethyl radical, CH3, CH2, a radical. Now the other part is converted into a benzyl cation. This is benzyl cation. Are you following? So always, irrespective of alkyl side chain attached with aromatic system, during the fragmentation, only beta bond get cleaved due to the formation of more stable benzyl cation. Hence it is a benzyl cleavage, benzylic cleavage or benzyl cleavage. Now you take other example, isopropyl benzene, CH, CH3, CH3, isopropyl benzene, ion radical, a molecular ion. Now you see here, with respect to aromatic system, this is alpha bond, this is beta bond, this is also beta bond. A bond between carbon and hydrogen is also beta bond. A carbon-carbon bond is alpha, carbon-hydrogen bond is beta, carbon-CH3 bond is beta, this is also beta. Now in this case, you see, the loss of the cleavage of beta bond homolytically, homolytic cleavage of this bond resulted a CH3 radical, CH3 as radical plus CH3 plus as cation. If a carbon hydrogen bond is cleaved, this is also a beta bond. If the carbon hydrogen bond is cleaved, the hydrogen get eliminated as radical to give carbon CH3 cation. You observe, in any case, irrespective of chain, it may be ethyl, it may be methyl, it may be propyl, it may be isopropyl. Always the second bond get cleaved. Now in the first case, second bond cleavage resulted CH3 radical, this as a cation. Now if the beta bond between carbon and hydrogen is cleaved, again hydrogen is eliminated as radical, the isopropyl cation attached with benzene is formed as more stable. So stable, because of formation of more stable cation, this always involved cleavage of the second bond or beta bond called as benzylic cleavage. Now, so we have discussed about fragmentation process. One is simple cleavage, other one is rearrangement. Now simple cleavage includes maybe heterolytic cleavage A, which we have discussed. The second one is the simple cleavage maybe includes homolytically. So we have discussed homolytic. In that we have studied different type of bond cleavages. First bond cleavage alpha, second bond if cleaved called as beta cleavage. If a second bond is cleaved with respect to double bond is called as allylic cleavage. If the second bond is cleaved homolytically with respect to aromatic system is called as benzylic cleavage. Now the simple cleavage includes three types: heterolytic cleavage, homolytic cleavage, and retro-Diels-Alder reaction. The third simple cleavage, the third type of simple cleavage, that is C, is retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. The third simple cleavage is retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. This is abbreviated as RDA. It is important for you. Retro-Diels-Alder, according to your syllabus, retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation is important. Now, before going to discuss about the retro-Diels-Alder reaction, before going to discuss about retro-Diels-Alder reaction, first we should know briefly about what is Diels-Alder reaction. Diels-Alder reaction is a reaction between diene and dienophile through a concerted mechanism, that is through a single step, to form a product of cyclic olefins. Say a diene combine with dienophile to give, under thermal conditions, without formation of any intermediate, directly it gives a product of cyclic olefin. Are you following? A diene combination with dienophile under thermal conditions, without using any reagents and without the formation of any intermediates, that is, it is a concerted mechanism. The product is formed in a single step or in a single stage to get a cyclic olefin. This is called as Diels-Alder reaction. Now coming to retro-Diels-Alder reaction. Retro is a reverse. Is it clear? Now, the reversal reactivity of a Diels-Alder is called as retro-Diels-Alder. Reversal reactivity of Diels-Alder is called as retro-Diels-Alder. That is, a cyclic olefins are converted into a open chain systems. One is diene, other one is dienophile. This is called as retro-Diels-Alder reaction. Retro-Diels-Alder. So the forward reaction is a Diels-Alder, where the open chain systems are combined to give a cyclic system. Diene, dienophiles are combined to give under thermal condition to give a cyclic olefin. Now, you think the reversal reactivity of Diels-Alder, that is, the cyclic olefins are converted into a open chain system. So diene and dienophile, reversal reactivity. So the backward reaction is called as retro-Diels-Alder reaction. Retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. Now, coming to the principle. The retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation includes cleavage of the two sigma bonds to form the two new pi bonds, resulted one as a cation radical by the loss of other as a neutral. Are you following? The cleavage of the two sigma bonds, in order to form a two new pi bonds, with that resulted a ion radical, one as ion radical, the other as a neutral, the other is lost as a neutral, is called as retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. So this includes the cleavage of the two sigma bond from the molecular ion and formed a two new pi bonds in a fragment ions, as one cation radical, the other one as a neutral. Now this is a retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. This fragmentation process is a characteristic fragmentation of cyclic olefins. So any olefin, any cyclic olefin, either unsubstituted or substituted, or irrespective of its size of the ring, any cyclic olefin may undergo retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. So The structural facility required for this fragmentation is that the molecular ion should be contain appropriately a double bond. So undergo retro-Diels order fragmentation. So this fragmentation is very important, as this fragmentation specifically included in your syllabus. You have to study specifically retro-Diels order, McLafferty rearrangement, scrambling, and a beta cleavage. These are the specific topics included in your syllabus. Now coming to retro-Diels order fragmentation. So you remember, it is a characteristic fragmentation of cyclic olefins. Any cyclic olefins may undergo fragmentation by retro-Diels order process. For example, I am going to take a cyclohexene. This is hexane. There is a double bond. It is a cyclohexene. Cyclohexene molecular ion. When undergo fragmentation, you see cleavage of the two sigma bonds. This is the first sigma bond. First sigma bond is cleaved or polarized towards this side. So here double bond is formed. This bond is polarized towards this side, and then this bond is towards this side. What happens? This is second bond cleavage. So cleavage of first sigma bond, cleavage of the second sigma bond. So when these two bonds are cleaved, this fragment is eliminated. This fragment is eliminated as open chain system, a diene. Are you clear? A dienophile. Now, when the first bond is cleaved and polarized towards this bond, there is a new sigma bond. This is first pi bond. Sorry. When the first sigma bond is cleaved and the electrons get polarized towards this carbon to form a new pi bond. This is first new pi bond is formed. Now the pi bond already existed when polarized towards this side. In between these two carbon, there is a new pi bond is formed. This is the first pi bond. This is the second pi bond. Now when the second pi bond is formed, the second sigma bond is cleaved and polarized the electron towards this carbon. So this part is eliminated as a dienophile. A dienophile. The other one. Now double bond, double bond, double bond, double bond, single bond, and double bond. So this is called as RDA. RDA process, retro-Diels order fragmentation. Are you following? Now, in a molecular ion, where there is a two new sigma bonds are cleaved to form a new two pi bonds. So two bonds are cleaved, two new sigma bonds are formed to get open chain fragments with one neutral and the other with ion radical. This may be ion radical. Now, when one fragment is ion radical, the other must be neutral. We have already studied in the principle. When the molecular ion is fragmented as a cation radical, the other fragment must be neutral. If one fragment is cation, the other fragment must be a radical. But in this case, one is formed as cation radical, other one is as a neutral. Now, or the first one is ion radical, the second may be a neutral. The first one is formed as ion radical, the second fragment is formed as neutral, whatever it may be. So a cyclic olefins are cleaved to get a open chain systems, one as ion radical, other as a neutral. Now here the first is neutral, the second one is ion radical, or it may be the first is only ion radical, the second may be neutral. So whatever it may be, one is ion radical, the other one must be a neutral. Now this is called as retro-Diels order fragmentation. Whatever it may be, it is a characteristic fragmentation of a cyclic olefins. Now let us take few more examples. Tetrahydronaphthalene. Tetrahydronaphthalene. Now when we close this, it look like a cyclohexene. Is it clear? You consider this double bond in this ring. When we close these four carbons, it look like a cyclohexene. So ion radical, that is molecular ion. Now cleavage of the two bonds. This is one sigma bond cleaved. This bond is polarized toward this side. This is second sigma bond is cleaved. First sigma bond cleavage, second sigma bond cleavage. This part is getting as a neutral. One as a ion radical. Now you see, when this bond is polarized toward this side, it becomes carbon double bond CH2, and when this bond is polarized to this side, it becomes carbon double bond CH2, CH2 and CH2. The other as a neutral. The other as a neutral. Now, this may be ion radical, this may be neutral, or vice versa. The second one may be ion radical, the first one may be a neutral. Both there is a probability to form. One as ion radical, the other as neutral. Either first one is ion radical or second one is ion radical. If first one is ion radical, the second fragment must be neutral. If the second fragment is ion radical, the first one must be a neutral. This is RDA process, retro-Diels-Alder reaction. Now, we will take few more examples. A oxygen containing compounds. Say this is. When we hide these four carbons, now this is a 6-membered ring with one double bond. This is one double bond. It look like a cyclic olefins. So its molecular ion undergo fragmentation by the cleavage of first sigma bond and second sigma bond. This bond is polarized toward this side. So this become carbon double bond oxygen. This become carbon double bond carbon. This is alkene. CH2 double bond oxygen. Instead of carbon, here oxygen. Therefore, this carbon is formed a bond with oxygen. It becomes C double bond O. Maybe it as ion radical by the loss of these two carbon as a neutral. This is RDA process. Now, if oxygen position is second instead of first, you see. Now in the first example, we have kept the oxygen position as 1. In the second example, I have kept the oxygen position as second. When we hide these four carbons, again it look like a cyclic olefin. Therefore undergo RDA process, retro-Diels-Alder process. Now the first bond cleavage, this bond is cleaved, first sigma bond is cleaved, second sigma bond cleavage, this bond is polarized toward this side to get double bond CH2 CH2 plus. Now instead of carbon there is a oxygen, so one is up here as a neutral. This may be ion radical, this may be neutral, or vice versa. So if oxygen position is 1, the first fragment carry oxygen. If oxygen position is 2, the second fragment carry oxygen. So whatever it may be, it comes under retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation. Cyclic compounds are transformed into open chain systems, so called as reversal. This is a reversal reactivity of Diels-Alder. Now the retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation in the mass spectrometry sometimes useful for the prediction of an isomers. A retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation is useful for the determination of isomers based on the m by z value of fragment ions. Based on the m by z value of fragment ions. For example, a cyclohexene carrying ethyl group. A cyclohexene carrying ethyl group, CH2 CH3, ethyl group. Its molecular ion, when undergo retro-Diels-Alder fragmentation, RDA fragmentation. Now cleavage of the first bond, this bond get polarized towards this carbon. Cleavage of the second bond. Now we have get these two carbon as a neutral, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon as dienophile plus a dienophile with a ethyl group attached. Now simply you cleave this bond and this bond. You will get these two carbon as a neutral fragment. The remaining part a dienophile with a ethyl group attached appear as a ion radical. Now it's isomer. If now this is the isomer. Now in this case, this is 1-ethyl cyclohexene. This is 1-ethyl cyclohexene. This is 1 2 3 4. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is 1-ethyl cyclohexene. This is 4-ethyl cyclohexene. These two are the isomers. Now these two are the isomers. A molecular ion of the second isomer. Now you see, similar to first isomer, now the cleavage of the first sigma bond, polarization of the pi bond, then cleavage of the second sigma bond resulted what? Now in this case, these two carbons carry a ethyl substituent plus a dienophile as cation radical. Are you clear? Now for 1-ethyl cyclohexene, now these two are the isomers. For 1-ethyl cyclohexene, when it undergo retro-Diels order fragmentation, you will get one as a neutral, a diene as a ion radical. This is dienophile, this is diene. A diene as a ion radical, where the diene carry the ethyl substituent, because the ethyl group is at the first position, where the diene carry the ethyl group. If the ethyl group is on 4th carbon, during the retro-Diels order fragmentation, where a dienophile carry the ethyl group, because the ethyl group is at this position. These two carbons are eliminated as dienophile. Now here the ethyl group is attached with these two carbons. So the ethyl group is carry a dienophile. Now a diene is unsubstituted. So dienophile and diene, one is neutral, the other one is ion radical. Now in this case, this is neutral, this is ion radical, unsubstituted. I already told that retro-Diels order fragmentation is a process can be used sometimes for the prediction of isomers based on the m/z value of fragments formed during the retro-Diels order fragmentation. Now in the first isomer, this is the ion radical, a fragment. This is the ion radical obtained from the second isomer. Now this ion radical has m/z value. This ion radical has m/z value. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons, 5 carbons, 6 carbons. So the first isomer, this ion radical contains 6 hydrogen, so that its mass becomes 72. 6 into 12, 72. Let us count the hydrogen. 2 hydrogen here, 2 hydrogen here, 4 hydrogens, 1 hydrogen here, 5, 2 hydrogen here, 7, 3 hydrogen here, 10. So that plus 10 is equal to 82. So its mass m/z value is 82. Now count for the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. 4 carbons into 12 mass become 48. 2 hydrogen here, 2 hydrogen here, 4 hydrogen, 1 hydrogen here, 1 hydrogen here, 6 hydrogen plus 6 is equal to, it become 54. So the m/z value of this ion is 54. Now you see, now these are the two examples, or these are the two isomers. Both will undergo retro-Diels order fragmentation to give ion radical by the loss of neutral. Now in the first case, the ion radical from the first isomer, the ion radical formed has its m/z value 82. from the second isomer, the ion radical formed has its m by z value 54. Are you clear? So the ion radical formed from the isomers of retro-Diels order fragmentation has different m by z value depending upon the position of substitution. Therefore, this facility can be used or utilized for the distinction of isomers through their retro-Diels order fragmentation and their m by z, the fragment ion m by z values. If during the recording of mass spectrum of this molecule, either first isomer or second isomer, if we get a signal at 82 indicated the first isomer, if we get a signal at 54 indicated the second isomer. So based on the m by z value of retro-Diels order fragments, these are called as retro-Diels order fragments because they obtained through the retro-Diels order fragmentation process. If we get a signal at 82 indicate the first isomer where the ethyl group is on first carbon atom. If a signal appear at 54 in the mass spectrum indicate the second isomer where the ethyl substitution is on fourth carbon atom. So in this way we can also predict, the process can also used for the prediction of an isomer. So based on the m by z value of retro-Diels order fragment. If we get 84 indicates one isomer, if we get 82 indicates one isomer, if we get 54 that indicates the another isomer. With this I completed the simple cleavage process of fragmentation. So what is simple cleavage? A cleavage of only bond, there is no rearrangement to get a fragment ions is a simple cleavage. That may be heterolytical or that may be homolytic. Homolytic may be alpha cleavage, homolytic may be beta, or it may be allylic, or it may be benzylic, or it may be two bond cleavage. A simple cleavage may involve two bond cleavage called as retro-Diels order fragmentation. With this, a simple cleavage process of fragmentation is completed. In the next lecture I am going to teach about the fragmentation process of molecular ion through the rearrangement process. So the rearrangement includes four types: scrambling, McLafferty, elimination and Ortho effect. After study of these four processes of fragmentation, we have to study a fragmentation process of different organic molecules like alkane, alkene, alkyl halide, alcohols, ethers, carbonyl compounds, carboxylic acid, esters, aromatic compounds and also heterolytic compounds. With that we can complete our syllabus. So with this today's lecture I conclude the today's lecture. Finally I am going to appeal to my students, my dearest students of both main campus and Bignur campus. Now I can use a Telugu language. మీరందరూ అనుకుంటుండవచ్చు మళ్ళీ రీఓపెన్, లాక్డౌన్ తర్వాత మళ్ళీ రీఓపెన్ అవుతుంది కావచ్చు, మనమందరం క్లాస్ రూమ్లో కూర్చొని చదువుకుంటాం కావచ్చు అనే అపోహలో ఉండవచ్చు. నేనేమనుకుంటున్నానంటే మళ్ళీ ఈ సెమిస్టర్ వరకు మాత్రం, ఈ ప్రజెంట్ సెకండ్ సెమిస్టర్ లేదా ఫోర్త్ సెమిస్టర్, కరెంట్ సెమిస్టర్కు సంబంధించినటువంటి క్లాస్ వర్క్ మనం యూనివర్సిటీలో క్లాస్ రూమ్లో కూర్చొని చదువుకునే అవకాశం మనకు రాకపోవచ్చు డ్యూ టు ద COVID-19 ఏ పాండమిక్ డిసీజ్. సో ప్రభుత్వం కూడా చాలా కష్టపడుతుంది, అది ఎవరి చేతిలో లేదు. కాబట్టి మనం మళ్ళీ క్లాస్ రూమ్లో కూర్చొని చదువుకునే అవకాశము ఈ సెమిస్టర్కి రాకపోవచ్చు, నెక్స్ట్ సెమిస్టర్కి రావచ్చు, కానీ ప్రజెంట్ కరెంట్ సెమిస్టర్కి రాకపోవచ్చు. కాబట్టి ఐ అప్పీల్ ఆల్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్, మీరందరూ కూడా సీరియస్గా క్లాస్ వినండి. మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, మీరందరూ సీరియస్గా క్లాస్ వినండి. నేను ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్లో కూడా చెప్పాను మీకు, స్పెక్ట్రోస్కోపీ అనేది వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు ఎనీ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్. ఆఫ్టర్ ఎంఎస్సి మీరు ఏదైనా కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్కి పోవాలంటే కంపల్సరీ యూ షుడ్ నో ద బేసిక్స్ అండ్ ఫండమెంటల్స్ ఆఫ్ స్పెక్ట్రోస్కోపీ. అందుకే మళ్ళీ మీకు చెప్పదలుచుకున్నది ఏంటంటే, మీకు టైం ఉన్నప్పుడు, నేను ఆన్లైన్లో ఎందుకు కాంటాక్ట్ అవుతలేనంటే, మీరందరూ రూరల్ స్టూడెంట్స్, మేబీ నెట్వర్క్ మీకు కనెక్ట్ కాకపోవచ్చు, నేను లైవ్ క్లాస్ కనుక మీకు చెప్తే వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ కావడము, నెట్వర్క్ బ్రేక్ కావడము, వీడియో రీచ్ కాకపోవడము, క్లారిటీ లేకపోవడము, ఇవన్నీ సంబంధించిన సమస్యలు ఉండడం వల్ల నేను వీడియో లెక్చర్స్ రికార్డ్ చేస్తున్నాను. వీడియో లెక్చర్స్ రికార్డ్ చేసి మీ వరకు తీసుకొస్తున్నాను. మీకు సమయం ఉన్నప్పుడు, మీకు టైం ఉన్నప్పుడు కంపల్సరీ ఇయర్ ఫోన్స్ కనెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి, హెడ్ ఫోన్స్ కనెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి, జాగ్రత్తగా వినండి. నేను ప్రతి లెక్చర్కు సంబంధించినటువంటి ఏ రోజు నోట్స్ ఆ రోజు మీకు వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్లో పంపించడం జరుగుతుంది. మీరు తరోగా 1-2 సార్లు లెక్చర్ వినండి, ఎక్కువ సమయం కేటాయించండి. ఎందుకంటే మీకు హాస్టల్కు రావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, మీరు కాలేజ్కు రావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, వచ్చేటువంటి అవకాశం కూడా లేదు. ఉన్న దగ్గర ఇంట్లోనే ఉంటూ 1-2 సార్లు మీరు జాగ్రత్తగా క్లాస్ వినండి. వెంటనే నోట్బుక్స్ ఓపెన్ చేయండి. నేను పంపించినటువంటి క్లాసుకు సంబంధించినటువంటి నోట్స్ నేను మీకు రెగ్యులర్గా యూనివర్సిటీలో ఉన్నప్పుడు క్లాస్ రూమ్లో మీకు ఏ విధంగా అయితే నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఇచ్చి ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఇమ్మీడియట్గా మీకు ఏ విధంగానైతే నోట్స్ డిక్టేట్ చేస్తానో అదే విధంగా మీకు డిక్టేట్ చేయాల్సినటువంటి నోట్స్ నేను ఇంట్లో కూర్చొని పేపర్ మీద రాస్తున్నాను. సో మీరు ఫస్ట్ లెక్చర్ అయిపోగానే వెంటనే దానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి నోట్స్ రాసుకోండి. లింక్ ఎక్కడ కూడా బ్రేక్ కానివ్వకండి. ఒక టాపిక్ నుంచి ఇంకో టాపిక్కు సంబంధించిన లింక్స్ ఉన్నాయి. నేను వరుసగా మీకు క్లాస్ తీసుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. మీరు వెంటనే నోట్స్ రాసుకోండి. కొంచెం కష్టమైనా సరే బాగా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. మీరందరూ ఎంత రెడీగా ఉండాలంటే రేపు ఎగ్జామ్స్ పెడతామంటే మేము రాస్తాము అన్నంత ప్రిపరేషన్లో మీరు ఉండాలి. కాబట్టి మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, మీకు ఏ టైంలో ఏ సమయంలోనన్నా ఎగ్జామ్స్ రావచ్చు. కాబట్టి లాక్డౌన్ పీరియడ్ ముగిసేలోపు మనం సిలబస్ కంప్లీట్ చేసుకోవాలి. సిలబస్ ఎంతసేపు 1 అవర్ కానీ 2 అవర్స్ కానీ 4 అవర్స్ కానీ చెప్పడానికి మాకు ఇబ్బంది లేదు. కానీ నేర్చుకోవడంలో మీరు ఇబ్బంది పడకండి. జాగ్రత్తగా వినండి, జాగ్రత్తగా చదవండి. మీరందరూ కూడా ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్కు సిద్ధంగా ఉండాలి. ఈ సెమిస్టర్ మళ్ళీ లాక్డౌన్ అయిన తర్వాత మనం క్లాస్ రూమ్లో కూర్చొని చిన్నపిల్లలు చదువుకున్నట్టు చదువుకుంటామంటే మేబీ పాసిబుల్ కాకపోవచ్చు. కాబట్టి మళ్ళీ మీకు అప్పీల్ చేస్తున్నా, ప్రతి వీడియో లెక్చర్లో అప్పీల్ చేస్తున్నా, జాగ్రత్తగా వినండి క్లాసు, నోట్స్ రాయండి, పదే చదవండి. ఆర్థికంగా నష్టపోతే మళ్ళీ సంపాదించుకోవచ్చు, కానీ విద్యలో నష్టపోతే మళ్ళీ నాలెడ్జ్ సంపాదించుకోవడానికి చాలా సమయం పడుతుంది. మే నాట్ బి పాసిబుల్. కాబట్టి మీరు ఈ సెమిస్టర్ నష్టపోకుండా ఉండడానికి తరోగా చదవండి, నోట్స్ బాగా ప్రిపేర్ కాండి, మళ్ళీ రాస్తూ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్ ఎప్పుడు పెట్టినా కూడా మీరందరూ సిద్ధంగా ఉంటారని మేము ఆశిస్తున్నాము. మీకు ఉన్నటువంటి డౌట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ మీరు గ్రూప్లో డిస్కస్ చేయండి. లేదు మీరు ఇంకా మాకు డౌట్స్ లైవ్లో కావాలంటే నేను లైవ్లో కూడా మీకు కనెక్ట్ కావడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాను, డౌట్స్ క్లియర్ చేయడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాను. దీంతో ఈరోజు లెక్చర్ ముగిస్తున్నాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.